here today for ThermOWeb, and I'm sharing with you this Snowman challenge layout, creating using some of the toner sheets that are on sale for part of the winter sale, as well as some Gina K Fancy Foils. So I am going to start off with the foiling process. So I have preheated my hot laminator, and I am going to take these Chic Chevron strips and I'm going to cut them apart to create strips for my layout. So I am using the Slimline toner white card front, and these are 20% off currently. I am also going to use so it's kind of a pink. It looks more pink in real life than what you're seeing here under my filming lights. And so this is the Bubblegum foil transfer sheet, fancy foil from Gina K / ThermOWeb. So I am making sure that I get my black side up on my transfer sheet, and then I'm getting the color side up and silver side down to the black of the transfer foil. So let me say that again. The color that you want showing is facing you, and the black has the silver against it. So they are laying on top of each other. Then you put them in a parchment packet and make sure you put the crease of the parchment packet through the laminator first, and voila, pull off your toner sheet and you get this really cool color left behind. So I have done that with the Bubblegum pink, and now I'm going to do the same with this Turquoise sea. So the foil sheet is shorter than the Slimline toner sheet, and so I'm just going to cut a little bit extra and make sure that that is covered up the top there. So you can see how I piece it together without any issue. It does leave a slight line, but I am not worried by that because it's on a scrapbook layout and I can always cover that up with embellishments. So I have both the Slimline toner Chic Chevron card front in white, as well as the toner card front for lots of dots. That's what the dots are. I do not intend to keep the dots connected. It's not a connect the dot game. I'm going to punch those out, and you will see how I'm going to apply those to my layout. So I am working with my scrap room. This is a double shot kit that consists of Feelin' Frosty by Simple Stories, so you get a selection of goodies. And I love that this is what I have to work with and nothing else, and so it definitely gives you fewer options, but you don't get overwhelmed by options, which is perfect. So I am going to cut the chevrons so that they are chevrons, and my intent is to stitch across the center of those, and those are going to add some sparkle to my shimmery winter layout. So while this is a wintry layout, it is definitely not your typical winter layout. So this was our first snow here in Virginia, and I am a physical therapist, and one of the groups that I follow, they have it's called the Snowman Challenge. So you hold a pen between your toes and you draw a snowman with your feet. And so during our first snow, a lot of my patients canceled. It was not safe for them to come in, and yet I had to be at work. Explain that. Anyway, and so I drew a snowman with my feet, and that was what this is about. So I have gutted this paper, and I want to put the white on top. You can see I'm using my 1/8 Gina K double-sided tape here so that when I stitch, because I know I want to stitch around the border, I don't get adhesive that gums up my sewing needle. So just a little tip, make sure that the adhesive is on the inner part of the pattern paper so that you can stitch along that outside border. So it secures it down perfectly, and you do not have to worry about gumming up your needle. So I'm just cutting a couple more strips here with the pattern papers that I have available. I want to overlap some of them, but not all of them, because again, keeping in mind that I want to stitch on the foiled toner sheets. So I also, because it's called a snowman challenge, my intent is that I want to fussy cut some of the snowmen and sprinkle them across the page to just carry that theme. Because I've converted my photos to black and white, I also want a little bit of that black paper that you can see with all of the winter paraphernalia all over it, so that that complements the black in the black and white of my photo there. I had to convert the photo because there were so many competing colors, that was the only way to really make this not get lost and just be a mess of color. So I am using my Gina K dot roller. I love this roller. It is, you will see, it's the only adhesive that or I should say dot roller adhesive that I use. I love that it's repositionable, but then permanent once it has been sat there for a little while. The more pressure you push to it, the more permanent it is. But if I'm just trying to figure out where things are going to go, it holds very nicely. So trying to get an alternate of the chevrons and the different lengths. So I'm going to run to my sewing machine, and I'm not going to show you that because it's very difficult to do. And you can see I sewed on the foil, and my foot didn't leave. It left small little traces you'll see in the close-ups, but barely noticeable. So now I am using the Lots of Dots toner sheet, and I'm punching out circles of different shapes and sizes. So I was inspired by, you'll see one of the ephemera pieces that I have is a foam dot that actually has these sort of asterisk-y stars through them. And so I wanted to replicate that, but with the foil. And so you will see my learning curve here in that I'm going to use a LE Studio stamp to stamp on top of that, but I don't like it. So I end up using the stamp just on the page, and I'm going to take you definitely need to get a Sharpie, a more permanent marker. So I'm going to use a StazOn. It's like StazOn. I'm trying to find the pen because off the top of my head I forget the name of it. It is a American Crafts Slick Writer. So they write on photos nicely, as well as your more slick surfaces. So that is what I am going to use coming up in a little bit, to draw on the foil itself. So yay, you can draw on foil and write on foil. So I'm fussy cutting a few of the elements. I've thought maybe I'd use another sweater for another pop of pink in the layout. I skipped through all of that fussy cutting, spared you the agony of having to watch that. So I've got my snowman, and I was showing you there the dot that I was referring to. I've got my snowman, and so now it is time to just sort of finish off the embellishing of the page. So you can see where I tried stamping it with a regular ink pad, didn't work. So now I'm going to try the StazOn ink pad, and it's really hard to see it, and I wanted them to go off the dots as well. So that is where I decide, fine, looks good, but I'm going to go ahead and stick with a different way of doing that. So just for some consistency, going to use that same pattern throughout bits and pieces of the layout there. And now I'm going to, there's my slick writer, and just kind of put it's a asterisk, and then I've got some of them are just plain asterisks, you'll see in the close-ups, and some of them have little dots colored at the end of it. So again, just mimicking one of the embellishments from the Simple Stories collection. And that's what I am doing here, is gluing them down using my dot roller and then drawing on top of the foil with my slick writer. So I'm going to do that with all of them, and that is going to be the sort of falling snow that cascades down the layout and then decorates the page. And that is really going to be as simple as the embellishments for this page are going to be. You've got a lot going on with the direction of the chevrons, as well as the busyness of that paper with all of the mittens and gloves and sweaters and what have you. I am going to need a title for this, so I am going to get some thickers, foam thickers to do. I also want to put a couple of these labels that you can see I've got it nestled in my little holder up there, and I'm going to sprinkle those about the page just for a little bit of white to add into the dark there. So again, this is a snowman challenge. It's, I think if you look it up on Instagram, it's hashtag snowman challenge. I'm sure there are other versions of the snowman challenge too, but you'll find those of us who have drawn snowmen with our feet. And so that is what the title is going to be. And that is going to wrap up my use of the sale toner foil sheets, transfer sheets with the foil from Gina K. I am going to write off camera because that's what I do down below, simple. And I am going to actually add two old stash arrow stickers that you'll see in the close-ups from Bella Boulevard. I have been busting my stash lately, trying to get new and old mixed together, just to give a new life to old goodies. This foam, double-sided foam from ThermOWeb, I'm still going. The roll is just never ending. It's super awesome, and it is the perfect height if you are looking for depth on your pages as well. So enjoy the close-ups. Thanks for stopping in today. I hope you're doing well. Come back again soon, and if you have any questions about how to use the toner sheets or the foil, definitely put them in the box down below. Thanks for stopping in today. Take care.